Hola, from the west side. It is me, DC the Purple Diva, and welcome to Not So Random Chat. Happy Friday, y'all. And for some of us, it's payday. So for those who it's payday, it's little Johnny Kent for you. Just got paid. It's Friday night. Anyway, I hope everybody had a great week. I hope that with all of the craziness that's going on in this world and, and in these YouTube streets, that we all made it to the end of this week healthy and in our right minds. Um, hey, Petty Murphy. I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to look at AGT this season. You know, I know a lot of us have kind of been not really watching AGT because we just can't deal with Terry Crews and his cooning ass. However, despite him being on there, and there was, they actually had history made this season. The winner of AGT this year's name is Brandon Leaks. He is a young black man who is a poet. Um, and I myself am a poet, and I mean, I do a little spoken word myself. But I'm going to tell you, I have never, ever been as moved as I by some spoken word as I was by this man's spoken word. I mean, it's powerful. He did a poem about losing his sister when he was a child. He did a poem about being a black man in this time, giving homage to Ahmaud, to George Floyd, to Breonna Taylor. He did a poem about the letters that he wrote to his father, who was not around when he was growing up. And then his last poem was a prayer for his daughter, who literally was born right before America's Got Talent started. So, for copyright purposes, I'm not going to play his work. However, it is available on YouTube. You can find it on the AGT channel, or you can go to um, Talent Recap that also has it. But I, y'all, after this man won, I'm just going to say this. Him winning means that, and he had tried out before, and they told him no back in 2017. But him winning this probably is going to open up the door to them being more receptive to maybe someone who's doing rap, which is, you know, kind of like a spoken word in a way. But it's more of, you know, it's a little different, you know. But dude is off the chain. Name is Brandon Leaks. He's from Cali, y'all. He's from Stockton, California. And those who don't know anything about Stockton, let me just say Stockton is not the nicest place for black people. Okay? It really isn't. So he did not grow up in the nicest, you know, circumstances. However, he strove through that. And dude won the $1 million doing his art, doing his, you know, original work. And he was a Golden Buzzer winner with Howie Mandel, who had never heard poetry in his life. And I just think the poems that he did, the subject matter of them is what really put him over the top, especially when he did that one about being a black man. And really, it wasn't from his perspective. He did the poem from the perspective of his mother being afraid that every time her son left the house, he might not come back breathing. I just thought it was deep. It was deep. Um, hey Sierra. Oh, text his name. Okay, let me write it in the chat. Let me write it in the chat. Let me write it. His name is Brandon. All right, there you go. There's his name, Brandon Leak. So yeah, he was powerful, you guys. I mean, and he made AGT history during the pandemic year. And I know a lot of people have not been supporting AGT because, I mean, I'll just say a lot of black folk. Because we ain't feeling Terry lately. You know, that means a whole nother story. You know, how he handled the situation when Gabrielle Union was let go from the show was not right. But, we see who he is. We see you, Terry. We see who you are. Yeah, I do spoken word, and I haven't really, put a lot of it on my channel because I'm working on a spoken word CD. But I think that I will share some more of my stuff because I'm not putting it all on the CD. I'm only gonna put like 10 of them on the CD, and I've written way more than that. So, but I loved his delivery and how he was just a storyteller with it. It was just like a story, and it was just powerful. I also, failed to mention this earlier this week, but we did lose a legend. Um, we lost Gail Sayers, and although he did not have a long career, most of us know of him if we're familiar with the movie Brian's Song, which was about the football player Brian Piccolo, who died at a young age from cancer. And he, Gail Sayers, was Brian Piccolo's best friend. He went on, to play in the NFL. In the movie, he's played by Billy D. But yeah, he died. I believe he was 85. I mean, and you guys know we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't know how many of you guys were able to see this morning. Early this morning, they did a tribute for her at the Capitol. And the black opera singer Denise Graves actually sang. And I did not know that Denise Graves was very good friends with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, you just don't know, the people who were in her circle. But I thought it was very nicely done. I'm not feeling the fact that Mr. 45 is going to try to shove another justice in before the election, so when he loses, he has stacked the Supreme Court so that he can, try to fight the election results. Because you see, that's why he's been doing all the stuff that he's been doing. Like putting doubts in people's minds about whether absentee votes are valid, why he made this COVID-19 drag out in the United States when it didn't drag out in other countries, so that maybe we could lose some people that might vote against him. Like over 200,000 people died. So that's 200,000 votes that probably weren't for him. It's just my opinion, but I believe that he allowed this to just go on. Hey, Miss Mahogany. I know. Yes, we did. Thank you for reminding me, because one of the emotions is actually a friend of mine, Janet. Janet is a friend of mine, Jeanette. Jeanette actually lives here in LA. She used to be a member of my of the choir at my church. So I was in the choir with Jeanette for years, and I didn't know that she was one of the emotions, because we're at church and they weren't out performing in anything. But yeah, that was her younger sister. That's the youngest one, I believe. Yeah, because Jeanette is the one. She wasn't like the group, the pictures that you see, like on those old ones. You don't see Jeanette in some of those, because Jeanette is the sister who got pregnant, and then she left the group for a period of time, and then the younger sister who died this week then joined the group. But then when they went back on the road, Jeanette was on the road with them. Yeah, they did. And I don't know if it's still available out there, but we did a gospel album 20 something years ago, called The King is Coming. It's by Bam Crawford's Purpose. And Jeanette did a song on there called Because of Jesus. And it is so beautiful. And I mean, it literally came out when we were recording the live version of the album. We were recording it live, and this song came in the spirit, and it's called Because of Jesus. And she did those, how the emotions had those those lilts in their voice where they go, oh. She would do, I can't do it the way she did it, but yeah. And I'm Facebook friends with Jeanette too, because she's still here in LA. I'm going to reach out to her. I'm sure some of the other members of the choir have reached out to her. It's crazy. We're losing a lot of people. Losing a lot of people. They did, and their harmonization is just out of this world. Like on Don't Ask My Neighbor. Don't ask my neighbor. I think they had like a stage play a few years ago that was based on their life. I can't remember the name of it. It was something bubblegum, but it was about the Hutchinson sisters. Hey, Blinding Lights. SuperTube Hindi. Hi, SuperTube. Oh my goodness, your grandmother's service is on Monday. I'm gonna just be keeping your family in my prayers, because I know it's got to be even crazier to have to do the services during this time, because they have all these other protocols that you have to abide by. But I'm glad you guys are able to do it. I'm glad, that we're at the point where we can actually give our dead proper burials. I'm doing fine, Blind Lighting. Just talking to you guys on a Friday night. We generally in my live streams, it's called Not So Random Chat, because we just talk about kind of a lot of different things, but they don't tend to be random, because I don't believe in us having random thoughts. I think all thoughts are purposeful. Even if we don't agree with what people are thinking, we are thinking people. So that's the way I look at it. But did any of you guys get a chance to check out the Father of the Bride 3-ish, part 3-ish, that was on Netflix's YouTube channel earlier tonight? It was supposed to benefit hunger. I think they're dealing with a specific organization. I watched it, and it was so funny to watch everybody on there and to see everyone now. But I wonder if the people that they had to play the ones who were infants in part 2, I wonder if those were the same kids. I'm gonna have to go back and look at part 2, because they'll have what the names of the babies were. I wonder if that was them. And then they did like a marriage, a virtual marriage. Yeah, it was about like 30 minutes. It's about 30 minutes long. It's not real long at all, but it was nice to see all of them, and they actually filmed it on Zoom. So you literally see all of the people on their Zoom. Martin Short was there, Diane Keaton was there, everyone from the original movie was there. Oh, and then with the son getting married virtually on this, they added the father of the bride is Robert De Niro. So the girl that was marrying him, who is I don't know if you guys remember that the chick Alexandra Shipp. She was in the Shaft movie with you know John Shaft, his son, and then the you know Junior. The one where Samuel L. Jackson was in, and what was the dude that played their son? Brandon. Yeah, Brandon Jackson, I believe his last name is. The son. Yeah, she was the one who played the girlfriend in that. She also was in the NWA movie, and she played Kim, Ice Cube's wife, in the NWA movie. So she was on the Zoom and played the girl marrying the son. So it was really good. It was really good. And, I mean, those of us, who are Steve Martin fans, it was just nice to see, him out there doing something. And they also said that there's a potential that they will actually do um, a Father of the Bride 3. Because remember, he does have another daughter. And the one that was the baby, who they now introduced in this Zoom. And they said that there's a possibility. And I know, like, for some people, Father of the Bride movies are corny and everything, but Steve Martin is funny. So, you know, everything that I've seen him in from back in the day is just hilarious. Hey, Joe. But y'all should check that out if you are a Father of the Bride fan and or a Steve Martin fan. Just go take a look at it. Like I said, Robert De Niro's in it. They did it was literally like a Zoom meeting, but it was really cool that they did it because they did some flashbacks to the movies. So you got to see everybody as they were back then, 25 years ago, and how they are now. God, man, 25 years. My son's going to be 25 years old next month. I'm old. I'm old because I am more than 25 years older than my son. See, that would have meant that I would have had to have been when, yeah, when he turned 25, I would be just 50. So, but I'm not. he's, yeah, he's 25 years younger than my sister, his auntie. Well, actually, 26, because, yeah, she just made another year older than the 50. Are getting heavy with the. I heard about that. I heard about that, Miss Mahogany. I heard that they were having some issues with schools in certain parts of the country. See, I know that they want to do the right thing. Like here, they are allowing the special education students to go back into the classroom because it's it's too hard for them to learn from home online. If they have a physical disability or if they have a developmental disability. They a lot of them need one-on-one, and the teachers can't offer that to them at home on a computer. But at the same time, I my fear is because this president is saying that nobody under 18 is going to be harmed, which is a straight out lie. We already have lost a 15-year-old, like back in March from this, when they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And we've had kids get this other thing that's just as bad that they're attributing to this outbreak of corona, where their feet are swelling and all this inflammatory stuff. No. So I, there's no way that you can just say that it's not going to hit our kids when it's hitting our kids. Why is he giving this misinformation to the country? He's giving misinformation. I can't wait for the presidential debates, though, because I want to see these two old men get up there and argue back and forth with each other. I think it's going to be hilarious. I really do. I absolutely am here for it. I want to see it because that's going to tell us some things that we need to know. I hope they do a vice presidential debate as well, because hopefully Kamala Harris will be able to do damage control for her being on the ticket. I mean, that woman cannot not know that a lot of people have a disdain for her because of her treatment of Black people in the state of California as a DA and then as the state attorney general. Sorry, not sorry, but it's the truth. She was part of the broken judicial and penal system. She was part of it. She was part of it. So I don't know what she's going to be able to say to, I don't know, change some people's minds about her, because I fear that if she doesn't do something, she's going to be responsible for some people not wanting to vote for Mr. Biden. I know he's going to lose some votes in California because of her. So what do you guys think of this judge that 45 is trying to shove down our throats? Amy Coney Barrett. She's known to be a conservative, obviously, because he wouldn't have picked her otherwise. But I just want to see what her real beliefs are. Oh, she's Catholic. She's Catholic, y'all. Wasn't that other fool, Kavanaugh? Isn't he Catholic too? And I know Joe Biden is Catholic, you know. But y'all know what I feel. Whenever they say someone is a devout Catholic, it's like, okay, if you're a devout Catholic, does that mean that you also are okay with all the pedophile priests? Alleged pedophile priests? Are you okay with that? Because, see, I'm not. That's why I'm no longer Catholic. And I grew up in the Catholic Church. That's all I knew, in my house. Now, the rest of our family was not Catholic. My dad's family was not Catholic. My mother's family is not Catholic. My mother had a fascination with Roman Catholicism. She grew up in New Orleans, and and New Orleans is heavily Roman Catholic, because of that French influence. But my family was everything but Catholic. They were definitely, we had Baptists, we had Seventh-day Adventists, we had Pentecostals, we had Kojic. Yeah, we had everything up in our family, but we did not have, yeah, my mom was the acorn. But she lived to see all three of her children leave the Catholic Church. Yes, she did. See, yeah, see, with this woman, I would be concerned about what her views are and whether her being Catholic would have any um you know would have anything to do with any of the decisions that she makes, because the Catholic Church doesn't believe in birth control, and you guys do know that one of, if not 45's agendas, um his vice president's agendas, is to try to reverse Roe v. Wade. Now, I am pro-choice, so, but I don't believe in women using abortion as a form of birth control either. And the only form of birth control that the Catholic Church allows is the rhythm method. I know many people who use the rhythm method who have many children. I do. Oh, and I know same people who, they're still Catholic to this day, who the husband even went to get a vasectomy and then she had twins because somehow his vasectomy did not take. But I don't know how I feel about it. And maybe I have a specific prejudice against the Catholic Church because I was raised in it and because I just know the lies. You know, I just know the lies. But I'm interested to see what she's going to say because, you know, they're always so. I remember, it's funny. I remember back when JFK came into becoming, president, they were so afraid of him becoming president because they were afraid, that the Pope would be in control of everything. Have y'all noticed that no one seems to have that same fear with Joe Biden? Has anyone heard anything like that in regards to Joe Biden, who is a devout Catholic? You know, JFK was just raised Catholic and went to church. But I wouldn't call him a devout Catholic with all his philandering ways, you know. But you haven't heard anything about people fearing that if Joe Biden became president, that we would be being run by the Church of Rome. I mean, it's total nonsense. It was total nonsense back then. But, it's interesting that that hasn't come up. But, I might have just spoken into existence. But then again, I know why they're not saying anything like that, because 45's wife is Catholic. She's Roman Catholic. So they would never be saying that kind of stuff because it would shine badly on him. And then people could say, well, his wife is Catholic. We could say the same thing in regards to her. So that's probably why it's not coming up in this particular case. Because I know people still have that crazy fear. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous because technically, we all know that the Roman Catholic Church is not supposed to be involved in politics. However, they are. They are. Because in countries where it's like the national religion or whatever, in those type of countries, yeah, anything that's a sin in the church is against the law in the country. Like, That's the reason why there were so many countries that abortion was banned, outlawed. But, you know, I would be afraid for it to go back to the days when women didn't have a choice. And the reason I say that is because you have situations where it is, you know, a rape. Someone has been molested. They're a child in a situation. It could be life or death. You know, but I'm not shaming women who have chosen to have an abortion. You know, that would never be my place. It's none of our place. My concern is that if they're going to do it, that it's done safely, so that they don't mess themselves up, so that they can't have kids when they want to actually have a child. But I definitely don't want it to be there for, you know, as an option for people to use it as their form of birth control. It's crazy to me, women who go and have multiple abortions. I mean, having multiple abortions after, do they not know what that does to their cervix? Do they not know that doing that, if they ever decide that they want to have kids, may make it hard for them to have a child and be able to carry it to term? Telling y'all that because I know someone who went through that. I know someone who went through that. And then and because of that, every child that they had to go, they did bed rest. So they only had two. But it's because they had multiple abortions. Matter of fact, I don't even know how many they actually had. I thought it was only two, but I think it was more than two. That's another good question, Miss Mahogany. Because if a woman has an abortion and thinks that she's not going to have any um, issues from that, you're crazy. You know, or you have no empathy in you. You know, your feelings are seared. Otherwise, you're going to have to probably get counseling, or, you know, talk to someone if you start feeling some kind of way. Because, you know, I mean, I think that it would be the same. It's similar to, you know, if you lose a baby, because I think you go through the same things, you know, as far as the bleeding after, like with the miscarriage. At least that's what I was told. But I mean, you gotta feel something, especially if you got to the point where you could feel the baby. And from my own personal experience of being pregnant, you can feel the baby pretty early. Feels like butterflies, but you can feel it pretty early. So, you know, that's the thing, is, to me, even though I'm pro-choice, I don't want people, I don't not think that baby, you know, when it's in the womb, is not a person. They're just a person who hasn't been born. And even if they're not fully developed, they're still a person because they have a soul. They don't just suddenly get their soul when they're born. I think they have a soul from the moment of conception. But, it's not for me to make that decision for every other woman in the world. And it's certainly not up to men to make those decisions for women. But it's going to be interesting because he's stacking the court with, or he's trying to stack the court with conservatives and conservative women. Now there'll be more conservatives on that court. So there is a possibility that it could potentially be overturned. And that would be scary for the next generation. You know, I'm not in that fight anymore. I am a woman who hit that wall. Happily. Happily. I told y'all my son is going to be 25. But less than 5 years ago, I could still have a child. But that's that myth. They assume that Black women, because we don't tend to have children older, that we can't have children, that we're not still fertile, we don't still have eggs. It varies from woman to woman. It varies from woman to woman. And it also depends on how early or how late you started, a cycle. Now, here's the thing that I think is really effed up is the people who start later, like the latest, or people who are women who they have to start their cycle for them, make it come. They usually go through menopause earlier. They have a shorter span of years that they're fertile, that they can have a baby. Isn't that crazy? Whereas generally you would think that ones who started earlier, no, generally if the earlier, it means it's going to go on for longer for them. Sad. That's sad. And those of us in the middle, well, we generally come out in the normal range, which is most women, usually the majority of women are over the age of 50. They're somewhere in their early to mid 50s when they can no longer actually have a child. This is just FYI for those who always wondered. Unless they did something to stop themselves from having a child, it's not in your early to mid 40s like they lead people to think. It's not. And for those of us who hated having a cycle for all those extra years, sorry, it is what it is. But having a cycle actually protects us. It protects women. It protects you from a lot of different types of diseases because of the estrogen that's going through your system. And that's the reason why a lot of us need to take supplements after to continue to have that same type of protection. Oh yeah, I know the guys. I hitting the wall is a joke to me. It's a joke to me. I think it's funny that they say that. I'm like, everyone doesn't have this, biological clock tick, 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 ticking and everything or whatever, and all women are not running around trying to, you know, have children. And I'm proud to be a mother. I love my son. I wanted a whole bunch of kids. I did. I wanted a bunch of babies. But that's not what happened because I got divorced, and, for the most part, in my family, I mean, there's some that had kids before they got married, but most of us, we don't have kids if we ain't married. That's just how we are, you know? And I mean, I remember that I'll say this. I remember when my sister had my nephew when she was in college, she was so upset that she got pregnant before she got married. She was so upset about it because our family, because it's not the norm, and it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy because it's not the norm in our family. It's like we come from one of those families where they look at you crazy if you go out there and have babies out of wedlock. You know, but there are a few that have happened nonetheless. I just wasn't one of them, you know. So after I got a divorce and I didn't get married again during, the years where I would want to have another kid, at a certain point, even though I could still have a kid, I did not want to have another child. And I was cool. And so any guy that was trying to have kids, see ya. You need to go be with someone who wants to have children still. hmm But to me, it's like once you get to a certain age, my son does this every time I'm on here. Once you get to a certain age, to me, do you even have the patience? I mean, I see people. I got a cousin who is older than me, and he has a toddler, but his wife is only 30. He has other kids; they're grown. He's starting over. I would. Whoo, I don't understand people who do that to themselves. You know, I don't. Have a kid, adopt kid late in life, either or. And I'm just saying it because generally, I know that the patience that I have now is not the patience that I had back then. I had probably a lot more patience, a lot more patience than I have nowadays. Exactly. Just because you can have a child doesn't mean you should. And that's my thing. It's like once I got to a certain age, just because I could have a child didn't mean that I should have one. I mean, I could still have children when I was 50. I wasn't going to be doing no Janet Jackson or Halle Berry. See, they have nannies that can help them out with their kids and stuff. And I don't know, maybe, you know, they're they're cool with, having kids at this time in life. But for me, this is a time where I don't want to be running behind no babies. Maybe a grandbaby when my son has a child eventually, if he has children. He's nowhere near having a child at this point. But, in case y'all did not know, there are many people who are on the autism spectrum who have children of their own. And those children are generally not autistic like their parents. You know, because some people might want to think that autism is genetic. It's not. Still haven't proven that to me. But I do have a couple of videos that I've been working on for you guys. I'm trying to get 2 of them out over the weekend. The one on Matthew Russian, I really, really want to get that out over the weekend because I really want him to be in people's minds. I don't want him to fall out of people's minds. Just briefly, he is a young man who is currently serving 10 of a 50-year sentence, but they suspended 40 years of it, so he has to spend 10 years of it, and he has autism. And, you know, I'm going to come back with, you know, when I do the video with more of the facts about what happened and everything. It was a tragic situation. However, they said that he was trying to kill himself, but I think it was a matter of him not understanding what he was being asked and just doing echolea because he was confused and he had no advocate there with him. We don't know if they knew that this young man suffered from autism at that time. Don't even know if that information was allowed because he didn't go to trial. So I'm gonna, you know, do a video on that, but I just want to make sure that I do it justice because there's only been a bit of information put out there about him within the autism community. You've had, like I said, the other day, a bigger YouTuber who is an autism mom has talked about it. A smaller YouTuber that is an autism mom has talked about it. And I think I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring to also speak about it because I don't see a whole lot about him on YouTube within, you know, the Black Lives Matter because this man is, you know, I don't think it was a fair situation, you know. The 50 years that they originally sentenced him to was crazy. And although the people in the other car were injured, I don't feel that he was given a fair trial. I don't, or fair representation. And I honestly think that if he wasn't a black man, that he would have been given this kind of sentence. I don't think it would have happened. Let me see what you're saying, Miss Mahogany. I know I follow her, and I always comment. I've been following Damo. I was a Damo subscriber back when it was Damo and Chrissy. You know, before she had her kid, everything. And I knew that kid had autism before she publicly announced it because, you know, I knew. So, yeah, she's the one. Damo is the one who broke the story in regards to Matthew Russian in the autism community. So that's the other reason why I'm going to put it up there because she put it out there, and I'm going to put it out there also as another autism mom because we need to stand behind this mom who said she is going to try to get her son out of jail until her dying breath. we don't want it to be her dying breath. You know, so I'm putting together something. I just went and pulled a bunch of pictures of this young man, you know, and I'm just pulling, you know, information in regards to him so that I can, you know, give as much information as I possibly can about who he is and not just about the case. Yep, I follow her on IG and I follow her on Instagram. I mean, and I follow her on YouTube. And she used to have her Facebook, but I don't think she's been on her Facebook in like forever. But I mean, I follow that page too. Yeah, she's a really sweet girl, you know. And she's got her son in a good program in Arizona. Arizona has pretty good stuff as far as special education. So, you know, and she's got money. Thankfully, she's able to, you know, to get a lot of the resources that she's going to need for her son. But he's doing good. You know, his speech is coming along. And then see with him, I think he also had like the ear thing going on, which also was going to which also was an issue, but that's all of those things have been cleared up. So, you know, I think he's going to be good. Yeah. Yeah, I think she's gonna be good. But yeah, shout out to Damo for breaking that story about Matthew Russian, because that's the reason why I'm going to do it, because she did talk about it. But I have to like be careful when I'm looking for stuff, because like there, you know, you have this young man named Matthew Russian, but there is also a Matthew Rushing with a G on the end, who is my sister's brother-in-law, but he also pops up sometimes when you're going out there looking, because um, he's one of the creative directors with Alvin Ailey. So that's my sister's brother's younger brother. It's like, you know, he's got siblings that don't have one of the same parents as him. So but yeah, shouts out to her. That's the reason why I'm gonna do the thing on that. So I'm trying to just get it all together. I literally have it all laid out, but I have to do the voiceover. And so, you know, let me just get a little technical with you guys. You know, when people do voiceovers videos, um, you generally are not just talking right through, because you want to make sure that everything that you say is timed concisely so that you're able to get your words out and in the segments. And so generally when I'm doing the voiceovers, I'll have to do whatever it is with whatever part a couple of times before I get it. So I'm not talking too fast and I'm not talking too slow. But I'm learning about this editing and this, doing these voiceovers and all of that stuff. My videos are getting better. But yeah, so with the voiceovers, it just takes me a little longer to do that part. And I want to make sure that I have everything that I want in it, you know. Or I could do a part two if I come up with additional information. But I want to make sure I get it out there over this weekend. Yes. So that's coming up. And I see I am coming up. I've been on here for about an hour, so I'm gonna come on camera. And I know y'all, David is about to run over here. So I'm telling y'all, he's coming. You can come. You can come over if you want. Here he comes. See, he's coming. Hey guys. It's time for these braids to come down, y'all. I gotta do some different ones. Come on, stick your head in. Say hi. Look at the fan. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. Yeah, he's got that deep baritone voice. Baritone voice. Definitely a man's voice. Like, thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I know when it gets to about an hour, I'm putting people to sleep because it's late. But I will be back on tomorrow. I'm gonna try to come on during the day and do like a daytime, maybe while I'm having my morning coffee. Try to do that. But until then, you guys, I offer you guys peace and blessings from the West Side. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Praying for everything that's going on. Praying for Breonna Taylor's family. Y'all, praying for this country. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.